I want to thank everybody for taking the time to join us today. My name is Todd Underhill. I'm a Senior Account Manager at Actify, and today we have the pleasure of chatting with Jeff Hearn, who is the Director of IT at Royal Power Solutions. Jeff, could you please let our audience know a little bit about Royal Power Solutions and what your business is and what you build, and just whatever information that you just want to share with everybody?
Okay, be glad to. So we are primarily we work in the automotive industry. We make eyelets and battery terminals for electrified vehicles. In the current marketplace that we find ourselves in, we're strategically positioned to do fairly well. We work with some of the big name companies like Ford and GM and Tesla. And we're working on developing new technology to make those connections more reliable and easier to install and set up within an electrified vehicle itself.
What is the technology like at Royal Power Solutions? What sort of systems do you use, such as like CAD as an example? How are you managing your data? Just to give the people on this call a little bit of insight of what your environment looks like.
Sure. Primarily on the design side, we use NX, and that is going to be from beginning to end, from kickoff to completion to production. Intermittently, we also actually do use SpinFire fairly frequently, and a lot of times that's used to help non-design people see the parts, see progress. They can chart, ask questions. They get the information that they need without having to spend the time to set up NX and the license to use NX for just viewing and gathering, simple data like measurements, etc.
What is your organization's digital transformation strategy, like technology, data, or processes that you have?
All right, so what we're doing as our strategy is looking at what the current marketplace is and where it's going, and how we can leverage the technology that we have, but also look at future technology. Batteries themselves are changing, and how batteries are used, and even how copper, which is the backbone of the parts that we make, can be used. And is there a way we can be more environmentally friendly, not using as much copper, and finding alternative ways to conduct electricity without harming the environment?
How does visualization play into that strategy? For instance, how has the availability of a solution like SpinFire helped enable collaborations between yourselves, your suppliers, your customers?
SpinFire actually is a backbone of how we do business. We will get suppliers, when they do a quote, will often use SpinFire as a unified tool. They may not use NX. Some of them don't. Some of them might use SolidWorks or AutoCAD. SpinFire gives us that vendor neutral ability to be able to share information. So if we create something, they can see it. And similarly, if they create something that's outside of the scope of software we use, we can see it, and we can start from there. Moving forward, as we begin to build out new tools or adjust existing tools, we can then still share that information with the vendors. And on the other side, with suppliers, as we're looking to determine how much materials we might need for one thing or another, we can share what information we want to share with them. So we don't have to give up trade secrets. We can just show portions of the die or the tool that we're trying to make, and then that allows us to get the materials that we need specific for the build out.
What experiences can you share that drove Royal Power Solutions to standardize on SpinFire as your visualization platform?
Well, the number one thing was the solution that SpinFire gave us. It's a very simple tool to use, and when we're talking about people who can be entrenched in how they work on CAD development and designs, trying to use something else that they're not familiar with, there's a learning curve. There always will be. And SpinFire, just right out of the box, is very simple. And that has been really the game changer for us.
You know, one of the challenges that companies have when considering adopting a vendor neutral visualization platform is how to justify that decision. And what was that process like within your organization?
Again, it was fairly simple once we knew what it was that we were looking to do. The idea of keeping it simple was, again, a key component. So with SpinFire, I mean, it became, because of the utility, because we can open up several different types of documents and we can collect data from that, it became a fairly simple process to approve and move forward on.
You know, we hear a lot of examples of how making that decision has delivered benefits, both expected and unexpectedly, to companies. And can you share some of that, some examples of both kinds of those benefits that Royal Power Solutions has seen?
Yeah, the initial purchase for SpinFire was to be used internally. And even within our own, we were looking to find an affordable structure that our program managers and non-design people could open up and view the designs that we were making for tools. We can take parts that we're making and we can share it with outside vendors to keep things simplified, and we have a lot more control on how and what we share.
Now that SpinFire has been in place for some time, what are you looking towards as next steps in pushing the strategy forward within maybe other departments within your organization?
Yeah, the big step, what we want to do with SpinFire is actually move it towards our website. We'd like to be able to show some of our parts in a 3D environment that the end user, the visitor, can look at, manipulate, rotate, and get a very more immersive view of the parts that we make. We're moving towards virtualizing our tours. We're moving towards, trying to keep remote access as a high availability for our company. And having SpinFire as part of our cloud-based solution seems to be the next logical step for us.
Is there any questions that I missed or any additional thoughts that you would have that you would like to share with the folks out there?
The biggest thing for us anyway is the structure on how SpinFire has been implemented is one of the easier software rollouts that I've had to work with. And yeah, we all have to work with in trying to educate users and have all those last minute things you didn't expect to have happen when you roll out new software. That just didn't happen with SpinFire. It's a very complete piece of software right out of the box.
Well, Jeff, really, that's all that I had for questions today. And I really want to thank you for your time and thank the folks out there who attended this. And yeah, I just want to say thank you to everybody.
Yep, thanks, Todd.